really on the edge of my seat. I really want to hear what the first thing you found that made you know this was your line.
Well, we walked up to where Brett's drop was from 19. He had a big flat drop. And we were looking at it, trying to work out. And I was actually stood on the takeoff of our canyon gap we built this year. And Joel was on the landing of Brett's drop. And I was like, just jokingly just went, why don't we jump from here to you? Because where Joel was stood, it was probably about 40 foot. It wasn't that bad. It would have been like a shark fin landing. And I was like, why can't we jump that? It's not that ridiculous. And the running was good. Like there was a load of space. It would have been fine. And then we were looking at the landing, and then Tyler came over, and he said he'd just been sat up the hill watching, seeing if anyone had seen it, and like worked out where it would be, and like saw us looking at it, and he's like, all right, I think he was kind of happy that someone else thought it was a good idea as well. Yeah. So he was like, cool. And then having 2 crews on it makes it so much easier to build the massive landing and everything else. So we teamed up, and then all worked out where the rest went.
That's a good. That's a really nice guy to team up with, because I think he's such a Rampage underdog. I was so hyped that he did that he podiumed this year. Like
he's been on the door so many times,
man,
like,
and he always does such gnarly stuff.
And they've pulled one from him before as well.
Yeah,
this is what was a bit weird with ours this year. It's like how long we had to do second runs. They've never done that. Never had a 4-hour wind hold, and then had 3 people do a second run.
Right. Never. Usually just call it.
Yeah. Surprisingly, there was someone in a Red Bull helmet that needed to do a second run.
Well, I mean, imagine crashing your first one and having... That's like a worst case scenario for Semenuk, isn't it? Like, he's crashed his first run. He knows he's a title contender. Oh my goodness, the mental strength to be able to just sit there and be like,
he was so chill at the top.
Was
like,
he?
He was just like
that's
having a
rad,
nap, just sat, just chilling. Yeah, he wasn't even slightly phased.
I know it was a joke, but do you think there was something in what you just said?
No, I don't think it was something. Okay, it was a joke. They obviously wanted us to all do the run, and because there was like enough of us that were willing to go up again, and there was quite a few of the rookies up there, like, we want to give you the chance to do a second run. Yeah. And it did work out that, at least, I think, Tommy G, Semenuk, someone else drop in?
Was it Luke?
No, I think Luke didn't. It might have just been Tommy G and Semenuk in the end, but we were all up there to try and do a second run.
Okay,
but obviously mine was quite wind affected. Wouldn't want to go near that thing anywhere. No. Any kind of wind. And Luke's was very exposed at the top. Okay. So yeah, it was just...
Were there sleepless nights after you built the canyon? Were there sleepless nights?
No.
You actually seem really chill with your testing and stuff, and your approach to all of it.
I can't remember who I was speaking to, but I was saying, like, it might have been Bren actually at the top on finals day. Was like, that was my 8th contest this year. Yeah. It's like, I don't do the contest nervy bit. I only get nervous when I stand in the start tower.
But truly, you don't.
No, I don't.
So truly,
I slept like a baby the night before. I didn't.
Wow. Because you come across as really chill, even in the testing. Like, I don't really want to be near the testing, especially not like, you know, you're someone I know and I don't want to be around it. I want it to be like you and your crew. I get quite creeped out by it actually. But
there was 30 people still on that landing watching us, so there's like
But you seem really chill. Even like your routine for dropping in is like chill, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm just breathing. Yeah. Then a massive driving.
Every time. That's interesting.
That's only come from Nikolai, because Nikolai does it all the time, and it's just like coming as a stupid joke. Yeah. And it becomes so far away from actually saying dropping in. Yeah. It's just funny. Yeah.
Did you used to be nervous about all that stuff, or is it something that's come with time?
Well, I've been competing since I was 16.
Yes.
So I've been doing it for more than half my life. So I probably would have got nervous the first few times, but...
I get competition nerves, but just nerves just for hitting, like just 75-foot canyon nerves. There's not as much.
I was more nervous jumping the 110 at Darkfest than jumping
Were you?
that. Yeah. I was more, I knew I was going to get to the landing.
On the 75.
I knew I was going to get there. It was just, am I going to be able to stop? That's all I was worried about. And obviously it didn't go very well for the first two.
Kind of
went well for the second one. First one,
second one couldn't have gone better.
Third one,
the coolest thing I've seen.
Third one, I was basically stopped by the bottom of the hill. By the bottom of the landing, I could have stopped.
Right.
You know, when you've spotted that canyon, the gap, what's the conversation with T-Mac? Like, how do you figure that out?
Well, it wasn't even...
You've got to be both on the same page. Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah,
like,
we said, we were looking at going from here to there. to like the side. And he was like, well, I was thinking about going to there. And then as you like walk around a bit more and look at it, it's like, that's just a perfect straight line. That makes more sense.
Okay.
It made it bigger, but it made more sense.
Okay.
And I was leaning on T-Max, like, you live here.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what's going to work and what's not going to work.
Do you know him before going into the event?
So when I was on GT, he was on GT. So we know each other through that sort of stuff.
Okay. I guess that makes it a little bit easier as well to have those.
And Tyler is one of the nicest people.
Yeah.
And his crew. The crew, they do such a good job.
Oh,
like his line was so trick. Like,
yeah.
It was so nicely built, wasn't it?
Sammy and Colt were legends. They both got poorly as well, like 2 days into the build, so they're all like struggling. But they seem to manhandle it quite well. But Sammy is an absolute legend. Absolute legend. I've got a video on my phone of mine when I did the viral clip of me jumping the canyon gap of him filming it from the side, and I land. He's like, yeah. And then it gets rowdy. He's like, no. It's so funny.
Are you just banking these up, ready to
re-trip that one up again?
Too right, dude, with a moment like that.
Yeah, there's 30 people. That means 30 angles. That's 30, 40 million.
Yeah.
So what do you learn?
Doing any clips the rest of the
Say different angles.
So each time you do it, you learn more. I always notice with you boys, especially at the peak of anything, you're like really good at just taking it as information.
Yeah.
So run 1 ended up with a crash against the bank. You and T-Mac both.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I crashed down the bank. I just had to jump off. T-Mac just stopped on the bank, but I went probably about 3 foot too short.
Okay.
So where the knuckle of the landing was, I landed on the curve of it still. So if you actually watch the video, my back wheel isn't on the floor for the whole landing, so I just can't slow down.
Yeah.
Right.
So then you have, what's the adjustment?
Go a bit faster.
Okay, and that's, you're starting from the same point
Same
on the
point,
landing.
just don't brake as much.
Don't brake as much, okay. And
So there's brake drag going into that as well.
I like down the landing as
terrifying.
not really, because it was brake drag to the roller, and then it was no brakes. So you had like a brake,
Pump
you had
and
like a
just go.
checkpoint, like okay, and go.
Yeah.
It was actually
I
not.
really
so bad.
liked that about that feature versus the two standout features were that canyon and Sea Dogs and Bienvets. And yours, I really liked liked as much as you can with an awful 75-foot canyon, but like I liked that you could check up and like measure it a bit.
Yeah, you could and you couldn't. Like
yeah,
you
no
can't
doubt.
really go. You roll to that roller and you were still braking all the way to the lips. You're still not really getting a judgment.
Okay.
But by the measurement of like where the roller is, where the lip is, and then you went down the whole landing, like the gap.
Yeah.
It added up.
Okay.
But if you saw Sea Dogs, it was a horrible run-in, wasn't it? It was like blind, still blind.
Yeah.
Was yours blind?
On top of the roller, you could see the corner of the landing,
Yeah.
like with the lip in the middle. So you kind of could see it and like, okay, cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there was enough stuff behind it. There was like 2 big bushes. So you like aim between the bushes.
Right.
So second run, what happened?
Uh,
You went a bit faster?
I went a little bit faster. Managed to get on the brakes, but when I got to the bottom of the landing, I actually sat on my back tyre, so it stood me completely upright. So my weight's all over the front, can't brake again, and I'm just pinballing for dear life down that thing. I had to actually let go of my brakes halfway through that to actually get traction to survive, which is quite a quick brain, like, okay.
It was such a long moment,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Yeah,
I was
like,
by the lip and I couldn't, you went out of sight, completely out
Yeah,
of
yeah.
control. And then when I saw you roll up the lip, that was the next time I saw that you were all right. So it was like like how many seconds that is of complete free fall down a mountain. Like,
Yeah. It was I went to downhill. Do you remember his name? Nico Menali?
Nico Menali,
Nico Menali
yeah.
said it was like, I got fired out of a canyon into a World Cup downhill track. That's the best way to describe it.
without wanting to.
Yeah.
But then, like, straight after that happened, I guess you then, in your brain, you calculated, okay, what happened, unwind it, and then you did it perfect.
And then that was it. Then I did, third time I did it was in my run.
Oh, was it?
Annoyingly, I had to stop and walk back up and do it again, but
Yes.
then it was absolutely fine.
So
Which I think was quite nice for T-Mac as well, because T-Mac only jumped it once before that and had to like stop on the bank.
Yeah.
So I think he was 2 or 3 guys after me to then see me like jump it and completely be slowed down and controlled, and then him go like, cool.
Yeah.
There was an adjustment after your pinball moment, though, right?
Yeah, we dug the bank out and got rid of a lot of loose.
Tons, wasn't
yeah,
it?
a lot. There was a lot where boys were building behind. They kind of just shoved it off the hill, so just loads of loose material. So they kind of just got rid of that
Right. Okay.
and built a tiny little catch berm on the other side. Which, if you see in the video, I catched like that much at the top of it. Which, if that wasn't there, I'd have been down the bank.
Little things like that at Rampage are wild, aren't they? They make you think about what you can do to save a run almost. I guess it's like,
it's a game of inches.
Yeah.
And it's a game of braking. It's literally the hardest thing about Rampage is managing speed. Like everything else is kind of windful, but you've got to try and.
I'd be interested, Ollie, like obviously with Tom going out there as a rookie before all what we're doing now, what would your advice have been to Tom? Have been like,
okay. Hey man, what an episode that was. You did amazing in it.
And so did you.
You shone like a star.
You shone like a moon.
Can we also put something up here that you can click on for the next episode?
How about we put a subscribe up there in the middle?
Yeah,
we're going to put a video we think that our lovely companionship will love on your face.
On my face?
Yeah.
So they can't see me now?
Gone. And on my face, another video that we think people will love. And thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please hit like and subscribe. You guys are the best.
Peace and love.